some new looks. A lot has happened in their lives, especially in stories, since leaving the last temple. So there's lots of that. There are new characters with new, crazy, cool costumes. A lot more color. A lot more flashy stuff. Even older characters, with new masks, new everything. So it's going to be pretty amazing, I think.
You got a question back there? Coming back? And also is Sexy Star. What's that in
Okay.
you knew that was going to come up.
Okay, we're going to end this podcast.
Let's take this off the air real quick.
That's a wrap, guys.
As of right now, for this season, there is not a... Flamington won't be there for this season.
Okay.
And Sexy Star, I'm just not going to answer that. I'd rather keep that controversial, because I think, if anything, it's something people talk about.
Good answer.
Well, I'll ask you this about Sexy Star. Without, of course, no spoilers.
Yeah.
When the whole controversy broke out, was there a worry about, okay, what do we do now?
I mean, a little bit. I mean, to me, I was there, and it is what it is. I think it's a tough subject among fans and stuff like that. I know her personally, and she's a friend of mine, and has always been a great talent when I've ever worked with her. So I won't say that, I mean, I'm not going to say anything bad about her, because I think she's a great talent and a nice person to me and a friend to me. So, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, people went nuts.
Yeah.
It blew up pretty much. Yeah, it blew up Twitter and stuff like that. But it's a TV show, and we're trying to make a good TV show. And I will tell you this: the storyline will be addressed, and we don't throw anything out. So, and I refuse to do that. I refuse to just let something go away that's not
right.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of times in wrestling, it's like, oh, well, we'll just totally forget that happened,
right?
And that's it. It's like we try in Lucha Underground to never forget things that happen, because I mean, you're paying attention to it. You're giving an hour of your time every week. I'm not just going to throw something out because of that. We will address it and find a way to. So, I guess that's my anscer for that.
Is this a shortened season then? Is it because
there are fewer episodes, yes,
okay,
this season. I don't know if I'm allowed to say how many, but it's in the 20s.
That's always good. One thing I do like about Lucha Underground compared to WWE is that you guys find a way to get everybody involved.
Yeah.
And it seems like, this is not to, I don't want nobody to think I'm kissing butt here, but it seemed like WWE kind of forgot about that when you moved on. Because it seemed like when you were there, it looked like when Paul Heyman was there writing, you were there writing, it seemed like you guys always found something for everybody. And it seems like WWE kind of got away from that. So when you go to Lucha, you see like everybody has a storyline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, even when I was at WWE, God, it was hard to get characters who are lower on the card on, in a consistent storyline. It's like one thing to just put them in a match, because that's what happens a lot. It's like, random Simon Dean match, or whatever it might be, or like, random RVD or whatever. But, and one of the things that they tell you when you're there is like, you need to focus on the top guys only. Those are the guys that draw money. That's it.
Right.
It's like, what's John Cena's story? What's Triple H's story? What's the Undertaker's story? And sure, I understand that philosophy. I do. Those guys draw the houses. They draw the money. They're the big stars. But I don't feel like you can create other stars.
Right.
And you also create some variety for the show. I think one of the things I always hated is then you only have a certain amount of guys that can main event.
Yeah.
And I also feel like everybody has this cool storyline, even somebody who, I mean, not to say that they're not main event guys, but like a Joey Ryan and Cortez Castro, we build the storyline and eventually those guys can main event. Or like Drago and King Cuerno in season 1, like they had a little storyline. They weren't necessarily in the championship picture, but you could see, then you can put them in the main event. Yeah. And now we have guys like, you can put Drago in the main event, you can put Aerostar in the main event, you can make all these characters that I think people care about and are invested in. And I think that's what people like. You don't like just to like one character.
Right.
You like, I mean, as a wrestling fan, me growing up, I mostly liked mid-card characters. I didn't always like the champion. I liked the up-and-coming guy, like almost the champion, or the Intercontinental champion if you're talking about WWE. And I think that's important, and I think wrestling is its best when all the characters have storylines and you care about every match. You care, there's stakes, and you care about every match that's on the show. Because like, if I just want to see some random, Sheamus versus somebody, not
Right.
say anything bad about them, but they don't have a storyline. I'm not invested. So why do I care
Right.
about the outcome?
Yeah, and I think now, before we get to his question, which is real quick, going back to WWE as being one of the writers, and the same thing we were talking about, which is you get these guys that sometimes don't have a big storyline in
Yeah.
WWE. I know, I'm hoping you probably catch a couple Raw SmackDowns lately, or
I try.
recently.
It's a lot of time to
Right, of course. But like you see, like for example, Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
He was a jobber. 3 months before he was WWE champion?
Yeah.
Do you kind of sit back and say like, this is why it was important to me to try to get some of these guys over, so the fans can take this guy as a credible threat instead of trying, because all the fans rejected him because he was a jobber. That's what they knew him as. Oh, he's jobbing. Well, how can we take this guy as a serious champion?
Yeah, 100%. I think that was in part. It was a stunt
Yeah.
to sell tickets.
Yeah.
In India. I mean, really, isn't that what it was? I mean, I think kind of, but and I think they obviously saw some value in him, or Vince saw some value in him, and they made that decision. And he's a great talent, but like you said, storyline wise, it's like, here's a guy that couldn't win a match for 3 years, and then all of a sudden he's won. I mean, not to say that doesn't work sometimes,
Right?
Because sometimes someone hasn't won a match and they win a match, it's a big deal and it's a story point and it's cool and you can play it up, but like, I guess in that circumstance it wasn't played like that. It was okay, all of a sudden now this guy's beating everybody. He couldn't win a match, but now he's beating Randy Orton and John Cena.
Or Shinsuke, who's your up-and-comer, or something like that. Or like Dolph Ziggler right now, who's just lost 20 matches in a row. Now he's credible.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, and that's another thing I think in Lucha we try to is like, what do you know about? I don't know anything about who Dolph Ziggler is.
Right.
Okay. Why do I care?
Right.
There's nothing that I know about his character, about what he wants or what he doesn't want. It's just he likes.
Yeah.
I don't know, rock and roll music.
Looks like Shawn Michaels a little bit.
Yeah. So it's like they don't. A lot of times, the storylines get lost, but I think that also has to do. And I don't want to spend my time saying about what WWE does wrong and we do whatever. It's a totally different animal. Oftentimes things get lost in the shuffle. There's too many cooks in the kitchen, I think, and politics and stuff like that. And I think that's one thing that we have tried our hardest.
Yeah.
And it's wrestling, but to avoid politics and avoid things like that, and give everybody a chance and everybody a storyline, and let everybody have a chance to shine out there and have a part, and even if you're, Famous B, or Ricky Mundo, who's they've had their arms broken like 7 times.
How cool is it that now, like, you got, speaking of Mundo, you have like Johnny Mundo, who no one remembers as. You guys have done such a great job with his character that nobody really remembers him as John Morris, and they now know him more as Johnny Mundo.
Yeah.
I mean, even though he's on Impact and he's Johnny Impact, but still he's Johnny Mundo. Yeah. I mean, was that an accomplishment for you guys now that you see like guys are forgotten by their prior?
Yeah, sure, but I think it's if anything, it's a compliment to John, and I think what he wanted to do when he came to Lucha Underground, and part of like, he was one of the first people that I called, and we had a working relationship that goes back to like basically like doing those old dirt sheet segments on WWE.com, and that's kind of how we became such good friends, because like Vince didn't mess with any of that stuff and just we just did whatever we wanted. And then sometimes I think that's when things get the best. And so I think when John was available and he was doing movies and doing Boone and all that stuff, it was like a cool partnership between him and us. It's like, hey, let's do something different and let's make this character cool, and let's kind of, I think, I guess not rebrand, but he's evolved.
Right.
To my opinion, I mean, one of the best wrestlers in the whole world, and I think he's really upped his game. And I think there was a time when there might have been some knocks on John, like, oh, I don't know, he can't talk, or he can't, he's not like a necessarily main event guy, but dude, that guy, he's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think he could go anywhere now and be a top guy. Not that I ever want him to leave Lucha, but he could.
Yeah.
And it's testament to his hard work, and I think, we had a lot of fun creatively. We got to do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like Worldwide Underground was just like something that happened. I mean, there was a time when, we were trying to figure out different characters, and then it was just like, I think Taya at one point was going to be Cobra Moon, and Cobra Moon was not going to be Cobra Moon, and then we just kind of looked at the two performers, and we're like, no, like she should be Cobra Moon, Thunder Rosa should be Cobra Moon, like she could do this, and then it was like, and Taya, like we just like, man, could you imagine if she was with Johnny? It's like these two kind of beautiful people, like amazing people. They're like, and we kind of played off that mirror images of one another, and what do you know? Now they're getting married.
I think you better be the best man at the wedding. Could have been marrying Thunder.
Yeah. She's already married.
Well, could have happened.
So I think things happen for a reason. I honestly think sometimes on Lucha Underground, we, things change in a minute and it ends up just working out for us. It's like we have like magic dice sometimes.
I know after he said all that about the role changes, you guys better have a bunch of questions now. Go question right here.
It's a follow-up, actually. So in a previous Q&A, you talked about having a relationship with the talent where you're open to their feedback, to their ideas, and I was wondering how that's evolved now in season 4, and how much the talent is involved in providing ideas for their character, for their look, for whatever it may be.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're involved as far as like character and look somewhat. I mean, I always try to reach out if I can and talk to them. I mean, there's a lot to deal with, especially creating this season in such a short amount of time. I think once everybody gets in town and they start to know a lot more of the things that they're doing, some of the stuff that we have is just so confidential that we just have not told anybody what we're doing. And we do that on purpose. And not that they're going to go tell everybody, but sometimes like we even like them as performers to not know, because in a way it creates a better performance because they don't know what's actually going to happen, and that is a good thing. I think if they don't know in 5 scenes, in I don't know, in 10 weeks they're going to get shot, or they're they're going to get their heart ripped out. That way, when they are getting their heart ripped out, they're like, oh my god, I'm getting my heart ripped out. But when everybody gets there will definitely be, as we go through the process, everybody will have some input into it.
Maybe an instance. Is there an instance of someone giving your input that made it to TV or made it to the show?
Oh yeah. Well, I'll take one for example, like Ricky Mundo. There's a guy who came to me and was like, "Hey," came to the team, was like, "I got an idea," and we planted the seeds to an idea a long time ago,
Right.
and it's going to start to blossom a little bit more now, and it was a great idea. And I was like, I wish I came up with the idea. And yeah, like that's one example that it'll be something that will definitely blossom in season 4, that you'll see that kind of is a callback to something that you might have just thought was nothing. So,
I have a question, Facebook question.
Facebook question from Mr. Michael Rosas. Will Mascarita be back?
yes.
Yeah!
You will see Masquerita Sagrada, yes. You will.
There you have it.
Hell yeah.
I got a question. What's the status on Conan coming back?
There are no plans right now for Conan to come back to Lucha Underground.
And you're just asking all the tough ones today.
Oh, no,
aren't
that's
you?
not really tough one. He's busy, man. He has his thing going on. He's at Impact and stuff like that.
He's
Hero
doing
Lucha.
Lucha stuff too.
Yeah.
I have a question for the wrestling guy. When will Vampiro make an appearance here at the Wrestling Guy store?
Oh, it's up to Vampiro when he wants to make one.
He's here all month, so get him.
Yeah.